Executive functioning skills like time management, attention, planning, and task completion can be a challenge for all of us. Here are some ways that you can help support students struggling with these skills in your classroom. Let's start with time management for independent work time. These strategies can also follow students home at the end of the day with a little bit of explicit teaching. Try setting a time limit for short tasks. For example, 5 minutes to write 3 points supporting your argument or 15 minutes to draft an initial outline. It's okay if the task isn't completely finished in this time frame. Just setting the timer to say, I will work on this task for X number of minutes can help. For longer periods of time, try the Pomodoro technique. 25 minutes on task followed by a 5-minute break, and then repeat. After 3 to 4 Pomodoros, take a 15-minute break. Adjust the timing as needed for your students and also your class period. When the whole class will move from one task to another, prep students to come out of that focus with transition timers at 15, 10, and 5 minutes before moving on. With all of these methods, you can display a visual timer at the front of the room. Try digital timer on the projector or use a dry erase marker to color in timing zones on an analog clock. What about taking notes during direct instruction? Note-taking can be either a help or a hindrance depending on the student. Students who do well taking notes might use a 4-color pen to color code their notes. For example, using red for new vocabulary or an important formula, green for examples, and blue for annotations. Using only 4 colors limits any color coding distraction. Sketchnoting, a more modern method of note-taking that includes small drawings and only recording the most important information, is a great option for students who find traditional note-taking to be ineffective or find themselves perpetually doodling in the margins. Drawing may even help students better retain the information than writing. Check out the resources in the description to get started with sketchnoting. Other students may find that note-taking distracts their attention away from the actual lesson, or they may not be able to write quickly enough, falling behind on the content. For these students, providing outlined or completed notes can be an easy solution, especially if you as a teacher already record notes using a smart screen or a slide deck. Simply export the file as a PDF and then host it on your LMS or classroom website. Bonus, this also makes providing notes to absent students quick and easy. For students who struggle to pay attention to the task at hand, here are 2 tips to support. If the students find themselves distracted by interesting thoughts they're worried they'll forget, they can set a blank piece of paper or a notebook page to the side and use it to quickly record the thought, then come back to it later. If instead the student finds their mind unable to focus on just one thing, they might try occupying the more basal part of their brain with an easy, repetitive task that doesn't require active focus, like a quick fidget toy, a handcraft like knitting or crochet that they already know, or lyric-free music like video game soundtracks. Consider what makes the most sense for the activity at hand. For example, if you will provide completed notes at the end of the lesson, the student should feel safe occupying their hands while listening to and participating in the lesson. However, if the student is engaging in something like a laboratory activity, lyric-free music would make more sense. Thanks for joining me on today's pop-up practice, where practice makes progress. Be sure to check out the pop-up practices playlist for more.